Thanks to UCCU, we're excited to welcome Walker Kessler into the KSL studios. Walker, thanks for joining us. This is fun.
Happy to be here.
You know all about Life Elevated, right? Literally and figuratively. You've achieved greatness at a high level, and we want to give fans a chance to learn how you've done it. And it starts with where you grew up in Georgia.
Yeah.
It starts with your family. How did your upbringing and your family help you achieve greatness?
So I grew up in a little town south of Atlanta called Noonan, Georgia. I grew up with an older brother, older sister. I was the baby, so always got picked on at a young age. Yeah. But, you know, I think that it made me more competitive in a way. And my family in general is, you know, extremely competitive. My dad played college ball at Georgia, played overseas. My brother played college ball as well. My sister played beach volleyball. So, you know, we've always were competing, whether it was, you know, basketball or chutes and ladders. Didn't matter. And so I think because of that, you know, I'm where I am today.
At what point did becoming an NBA player become the goal? And what sacrifices did you have to make to achieve that?
Oof. I think around middle school is when I had a serious conversation. You know, like, I want to do this. Obviously, there was times where, like, you know, maybe not. But I think for me, the biggest sacrifice that I made was just, you know, choosing how to spend your time. For me, that was, you know, being in the gym as much as possible, doing everything I can to be great in that regard, but also, you know, enjoying, you know, life as a kid, because you don't want to be burned out as well. And that's the concern. But continuing to keep working.
Life Elevated is the Utah State slogan. It's part of your campaign with UCCU. Elevated checking. And when you're 7 feet tall, you have no choice but to live life elevated, right?
You know, you got to duck through some door frames and stuff like that.
So it's a perfect match. How much are you enjoying Life Elevated in Utah? And have you now in your second year had a chance to really enjoy it?
Yeah, I love it. The first week I couldn't breathe, but, you know, I think, you know, it's been great. I love the mountains are unbelievable. You know, the people are super friendly. You know, the altitude definitely is a big advantage, just being, you know, part of the Jazz. You know, I feel like everyone comes here and is automatically just like, you know, you can't breathe. So being able to play here in front of people, it's a lot of fun.
Your partnership with UCCU has led you to have an opportunity to star in some commercials, do a little acting. In fact, we've got one right now. Can we pull that up right now and play that?
Not in this break room.
UCCU's Elevated Checking comes with tools that can help you block threats and protect your family online. Just like Walker Kessler protects the rim.
You just can't help it, can you? You got to block everything that comes your way. Don't go to a junior Jazz game. That could get ugly.
Exactly.
But you had a chance to do some acting there, and I was talking to everybody at UCCU. They said you're a natural. How much fun did you have just cutting it loose and having fun making ads?
It was a blast. You know, fun fact about me, 7th grade, I did theater.
Really?
And I won the theater award at the end of the year. I played Santa Claus as a monologue.
You played Santa Claus?
I did. True story. True story.
Classically trained actor, Walker Kessler.
Listen,
you're a natural. Looks great.
That was my first career. You know, that's what I wanted to be. But, you know, basketball works too. So
when basketball isn't going to last forever.
Right, yeah.
Do you want to do some acting when you're done?
You know, who knows? You know, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
All right, now on the court. How has life been in the NBA been different year 1 to year 2? Obviously, everyone knows who you are now in the league. They adjust to the way you play. How have you adjusted? Yeah,
you know, it's a lot different. I think, especially in the first year, like you said, you know, going into games, people don't really know, you know, who you are. They don't necessarily respect you just because you haven't been in a situation before. So going into second year, people knowing who you are, people having a scout for you, you know, definitely makes it more difficult. But I think the biggest thing that I've learned is to stay the course and keep, you know, regardless of the outcome, just keep moving forward, keep trying. And, you know, even though there's failures, try to take those failures and learn from them and, you know, turn to success.
Last year, All-Star Weekend was special here in Utah. You got to be a part of that.
A lot of fun.
You're going to get to do it again, this time in Indy as a part of the Rising Stars game. How excited are you for another opportunity to go there? And you get to go with a teammate as well.
Yeah, exactly. Me and Key, very excited. Excited for him to experience it. Kind of show him the ropes a little bit. We'll see. The Rising Stars game is really competitive. So, but very excited. Very excited for the opportunity to be recognized and to be part of, that weekend and to see some of the best basketball players, in the NBA.
You've done some reporting on the side when you've gone to some of these events. You got to ask Jokic questions.
I'm not going to say I'm a man of all trades, but I have.
Is there
a lot
anything
of
you can't do?
I can't play soccer very well.
Okay.
I'm not very coordinated with my feet. So that is one thing.
So we found one thing, but you're so great.
That's about it, though.
You were great. You asked Jokic great questions last year. Are we going to see more of that at All-Star Weekend?
Maybe. Who knows?
Okay.
Can't reveal all the surprises, but excited for whatever it brings.
Can't wait for it. All right. How would you describe the Utah Jazz season so far?
I think it definitely started out a little tougher than last year's season. I think that adding a lot of different pieces, it takes time for guys and things to mesh. But I feel like, playing a 10-man style, we've all meshed very well, and we all get along great, and we have great chemistry. And I think we're really tough to play against. I think that it's tough to scout against all these guys when we have so much depth. Even looking at last night, we had, I think, 4 guys that closed the game that aren't starters. It just depends on the night.
Yeah.
And I think because of that, you never know who's going to bring it, but regardless of who brings it, everyone on the bench is always cheering for everybody, and it just makes it a lot of fun to play. How
has Will helped with that? Because one of the things that stands out to me about Will Hardy is we've seen the comments he makes, the masterpiece of you-know-what after the one game, the Dallas game. But there's also this willingness to admit or to be flexible or to say, I need to learn or do better, like he did with Colin Sexton. How much do you guys appreciate that with him? Yeah, I think that it takes a lot of humility for a coach to admit, that he has to do better. Yeah. And I think that because of that, that's where, part of his greatness is. As players, we respect someone who admits, when they're wrong or when they can work on stuff. And because of that, we look at that and we want to be like that. We want to take the blame for stuff that we're at fault for. And I think when you have guys like that aren't all pointing the finger, it makes it a lot more fun to play for, and it just makes guys just, be that much stronger. Lesson for all of us how important humility is in everyday life. No question. Last thing I want to ask you, what's your favorite thing about Utah? What have you really had a chance to really enjoy and discover now that you've been here for a couple of years? That's tough. It sounds naive or, silly or Hallmark or whatever, but I think waking up every morning to those mountains and sitting out. I live in a condo on the 20th floor, so I have a pretty good view of the mountains. And in the morning, and when there's a golden hour and the sun sets and the skies are clear, it's you can't beat it. So for me, that's the best thing. And the people and fans, of course. Of course, yes. Want to throw that out there. Yeah, and the media as well. And the media, right. Exactly. Okay.